Happy Earth Day, everyone. Bri the Sky Guy here from A Time for Science, ready for Eyes on the Sky in eastern North Carolina. We're going to get started with a beautiful sunset on April 24th, 2020. And what an amazing sunset we will find each evening during this Earth Day weekend. You know, starting with Friday, what we see is a nice crescent moon and the bright planet Venus. Now, if you don't know about Venus, it is super bright, like ridiculously bright. As far as bright things go, it is the third brightest thing in the sky, only outshined by the sun and the moon. So you maybe have already seen it out there. Maybe you didn't know what you were looking at, but that real bright thing in the sky out towards the west, near the setting sun, is Venus. And over the course of this weekend, we're going to have a nice crescent moon, a gorgeous crescent moon come and just pass right by Venus. And I got to say, this is by far my most favorite thing to get out there and enjoy. A nice crescent moon with a bright planet or two and the beautiful colors of the twilight. It doesn't get any better than that. I could stare at it for hours. Unfortunately, you only get about 20 minutes before the stars come out. And that's beautiful as well. So win-win. Now let's watch how this whole scene changes over the weekend. So we start with Friday evening at 8 p.m. We move up to Saturday at 8 p.m., the moon getting a little closer. And you'll notice as the moon approaches Venus, that crescent is going to be getting bigger as well. Essentially, the moon is orbiting the Earth, and as the moon orbits the Earth, during this part of the phase, we're seeing more and more of that day side. That's what's causing that crescent to get bigger. By Sunday evening, the moon and Venus will be right next to each other. So this is definitely going to be the best night out of the bunch to get out there and enjoy the scenery and watch the sun go down. And then you can start your week off right with yet another crescent moon and bright planet Venus combo. After that, the moon gets a little far removed and starts to enter more into the quarter moon phase from there. Now, let's check out what's going on in the evening. We will go back to Friday, and let's speed up time and watch the stars come out. So, as I speed up time, the Earth rotates, the sky appears to turn, and the sun sets. We get those stars coming out. Now, during the evening right now, it is stunning, just lit up out towards the west with all the bright stars of the winter constellations. They're not going to be out much longer, so definitely bust out your binoculars, your telescope, whatever you got, and enjoy it while you can. Some of the brightest stars in the sky are out in the winter constellations, as well as some of the brightest deep space objects. So these are things like nebulas and star clusters. But again, the most apparent thing, the most obvious thing, the thing that's going to draw your eye right to it will be Venus. It's going to look even brighter once the sunset is all said and done and it's just on a backdrop of the black night sky. You'll have another very bright star, bright point of light at least, Sirius. And you might have a little trouble telling the difference between the two. There's a couple things you can do. The first thing I would suggest, check for twinkling. Stars twinkle, planets, for the most part, do not. So that's a good test in about all cases. If you see something bright in the sky, check for twinkling. And Sirius is going to twinkle like crazy. I mean, Sirius, first of all, it's seriously bright. It's the brightest star in the night sky. And it's low on the horizon. So the lower on the horizon something is, the more atmosphere it shines through, the more atmospheric distortion you get. And this atmospheric distortion is the cause of the twinkling of the stars. So enjoy the show with Sirius and its twinkling. One other thing I can suggest is to use the constellation Orion. So what we can do here is bring up this constellation, and you can notice the belt of Orion, the three stars at the center of the constellation. You can follow those towards the left or to the east, and that will take you right towards Sirius as well. And just another way to differentiate these two very bright points of light out towards the west in the early goings of the evening. Now let's expand our view. We will take a look at kind of an important line in astronomy. It's an imaginary line. It's called the zodiac. and the ecliptic, excuse me. The ecliptic, it houses the zodiac constellations, and the ecliptic is the path through the sky that the sun, the moon, and all the planets travel along. So if you want to find some constellations, very helpful to be familiar with the 12 zodiacs, because again, any planet can be in any one of them at any particular time. Now let's run through these, starting off in the west with Taurus the bull. Let's go ahead and get that artwork going. We have the Gemini twins, Castor and Pollux, Cancer the crab, Leo the lion, and Virgo the maiden. Now, gotta say, I am not an astrologer. I get called an astrologer all the time. That's not what I'm doing here, so don't ask me for your horoscope. I'm an astronomer, which means I like to talk about the stars and how they relate to different things, just kind of in the whole structure and grand scheme of the universe. But with the zodiac constellations, you can certainly use them to learn where the planets are. So very useful tool for finding planets, because again, any planet can be in any one of them at any particular time. Now let's take a look at just one of these constellations. We'll zoom in on Leo, and to find Leo, you want to look for the hook. What I like to refer to as the pirate hook, because we're in Pirate Nation here in eastern North Carolina. So figure out which way south is at a reasonable hour, anytime before midnight. Look up for the hook. You have a very distinct hook shape, which is made up by the head and chest of Leo the lion. And the bright star in that hook is going to be Regulus, the alpha star of Leo. Now, the spring constellations, they are known for galaxies, because during this time of the year, we are literally looking up and out of our galaxy into intergalactic space. So let's check out one of the great examples of some galaxies in Leo. We will zoom in on what's called the Leo triplet. And a good way to find it is to pretty much just draw a line between Regulus and Dubhe. And you can even use this star right here, kind of the tailbone of Leo. Those three stars can help you triangulate that position. Or you can have a telescope with a computer on it, and it'll take you right there. Pretty cool. Either way, once you get there, you will be transported to an amazingly epic system, intergalactic system of 3 galaxies. And this is just, I don't know, it blows my mind looking at this, because you have, what's got to be about 1 trillion stars here. I mean, most galaxies like this contain anywhere from 300 billion to 500 billion stars. And these galaxies, it's not like an optical illusion. They're literally a galactic system where they're interacting with each other, kind of influencing the spiral shapes of one another, maybe triggering star formation between them. And it's just wild. And this gets to kind of the heart of astronomy, where it's not just about observing with your eyes. It's also about observing with your mind and just understanding the subtleties of these different astronomical objects you're looking at, and how they fit into the larger scheme and evolution of our universe. It's really quite an amazing thing. It's just, you can get lost in awe and wonder for sure. So have some fun. This is definitely one of my most favorite things to look at during this time of year. A little harder to find. I mean, you do need a decent telescope, at least 6 inches, and some good night sky conditions. You have to be away from any street lights or Walmarts. Sorry, Walmart. But light pollution can definitely hinder your view of the treasures in the spring skies. So we'll wrap it up with that. Hope you guys enjoyed this tour. We're just scratching the surface, so much more to explore, but please join us for our future installments of Eyes on the Sky in eastern North Carolina. Thank you very much, and enjoy your beautiful weekend.